Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'm in a good mood because we're going to be doing my favorite thing, which is finding out the gossip that is going on in day-to-day people's lives, in which they are telling us on Reddit and they are getting us, love it, we're like the judge, your honor, guilty, to decide whether or not they are a-holes, the people they're talking about are a-holes, whether no one involved is an a-hole, or we don't have any more enough information. We've done a lot of these. We have an entire series of it. I have loaded up the subreddit, and we are going to get right into it. All right, let's get into it. We are like Judge Judy. Yeah, in a way it is. Also, I'm daily vlogging on my second channel, More Adam McIntyre. If you want to go over and subscribe, it'll be pinned down below. Thank you for reminding me, chat. All right. Am I the a-hole for saying not again and not being happy for my daughter's pregnancy? Hi, chat. Sorry, I stumbled over my words there. Hey, welcome back. What do we think? Am I the a-hole for saying not again and not being happy for my daughter's pregnancy? We're getting a lot of, someone said free will. We're getting you're the a-hole for this one. All right, we're going to get into this. On phone. Okay, don't have to tell me twice, babe. My daughter got pregnant the second year into college. It was not a good time. My husband and I stepped up so she could finish college, which she did. She just graduated and got a job. The problem is the moment she cannot afford childcare or rent, the problem is at the moment she cannot afford childcare or rent because her job sucks. We were hoping she would be moving out again by the end of the year. She told us today that she's pregnant again. When she told us, I said, not again. She asked if I was happy for her and I told her no. That we will not look after another kid, and we already wanted her to find her own place by the end of the year or next summer at least. She is pissed at us, and we got into an argument. She thinks we are a-holes. Is this person the a-hole? No. All my chat are saying you're the a-hole. No, you're not the a-hole. I mean, think about this. You work your entire life. You're finally getting your retirement. I don't know the age of these people, but I'm giving a situation. You're finally in retirement, and now you have a full-time job looking after a kid that you didn't really want to, look after anyway. And you cover the rent and childcare for your daughter, and then she comes back with another one. What we need to have here is a conversation about contraception, right? Whatever happened to conversation? No. You don't want to talk about contraception. Seriously, this is not the parents' responsibility, and this is the responsibility of their daughter. And I just think that it's not fair on the parents as much as it's not fair on anyone. Like, I feel worse for the parents here. Well, I feel bad for the babies that are, being had, and then the people that are basically looking after them don't even want to look after them, you know what I mean? And it's not the grandparents' fault they don't want to look after them. They're trying to enjoy their life. I think this has risky territory in terms of the future with the relationship with the daughter, but the parents shouldn't feel that they have to be forced into a corner to look after every single child. I think that it's an unfortunate situation. I mean, this is literally boiling down to, are they the asshole for saying they're not happy for their daughter's pregnancy? It's an unfortunate situation. Do I think they were wrong for saying they're not excited? No, because that's an honest thing to say. You know what I mean? I'm not excited, and here's the reason. But we'll, figure out what we're going to do. Is that better? But also, I just think that there needs to be an open dialogue here about the future and responsibilities. Do I think this person's the a-hole? No. But I think it's a very unfortunate situation, and it's a very, just communicate. Yeah. But I also think that the parents should have expressed frustrations with the daughter more, about the first baby. Who knows that they didn't do that? I'm going to say that everyone kind of sucks here, but it's also, it's not the parents' responsibility to look after their kids. Okay. Am I the a-hole for calling my mom out for not being fully honest about the reason she wants her husband to walk me down the aisle? What do we think? What do we think, muckers? What do we think, muckers? What do we think? I'm going to say not the asshole, and I'm seeing everyone is saying that by a landslide. And the reason is because this is someone's really important special day, their wedding, and if you kind of feel lied to about that day, then am I the a-hole for calling my mom out for not being fully honest about the reason she wants her husband to walk me down the aisle at my wedding? Okay, wait. Her husband. Okay. Interesting wording here. The mother is very clearly controlling, and this person hasn't called her mom's husband her stepfather or like her father or anything. So interesting. The wording is interesting, but we'll see. And this is this person's wedding and they have full control. So the mom sucks already. Well, I don't know that yet, but possibly. My wedding is coming up and my mom has been campaigning hard for her husband, my stepdad. Oh, there we go. To be the person to walk me down the aisle. I already asked my paternal grandparents. Oh. No, don't take that from this. Don't take that from your daughter. Your daughter wants their grandparents to walk them down the aisle. Do not take that from them. No, don't. I already asked my paternal grandparents. My mom knew I was going to ask them and knew when I had, but she had not given up on the desire for me to ask her husband. The other day, she told me that it would make the most sense. I don't care what makes the most sense. It's whatever you want to do. It would make the most sense. And she feels that he is the correct and most worthy person to walk me down the aisle. Bitch, it's not your wedding. I called her out on that, and she said that she should be more honest about why I called her out on it and said that she should be more honest on why she wants him. The reason I know is because she knows her husband and my dad hated each other, and she believes I should have been loyal to her husband over my dad. She especially believes I should have given all the loyalty I had to my dad to her husband after I lost my dad at the age of 7. Seems like a lot of like manipulation going on here, especially on like to do with wedding day, but just in general growing up. The grandparents are obviously from the father's side, and this person's basically trying to cut the father's side off completely. So I would say the mom is the asshole immediately. Background. My parents broke up and they were never married, and my mom got married to her husband when I was 2. My dad and her husband hated each other. I was always aware of this fact, but it became especially bitter for me when I was 6 and my dad was diagnosed with cancer. I don't remember a lot from that time, but I do remember my mom's husband showing up to see my dad when he was at hospital, and I remember him yelling at my dad. I know prior to that, the two were as bad as each other and the animosity was mutual. When my dad died, I didn't automatically start to care more or feel closer to her husband. He did try, and I think part of his hatred for my dad was that I was such a daddy's girl. I never looked at him being in my life as, having 2 parents. I spent equal time with both my parents when my dad was alive. I never got closer to my mom's husband. He was my mom's husband and my half-sibling's dad, but even though I don't remember a time where I didn't know him, I've never seen him as my dad. He always hated my dad too. I heard him grumble about him over the years. Even saw him spit near a photo of my dad once. Eventually, he gave up trying and decided I wasn't worth his time, which I felt was better for everyone. I hate this. But my mom hates it. She hates that he's just her husband and I haven't fully embraced him as my dad. One time, she said it can be so hurtful to lose a dead man and be rejected in favor of a dead man. I hate this mother. I hate this. You know what? The grandparents are going to walk you down the aisle and the mother's going to be on a ban list at the door. Security are going to not let her or her husband in. I told her he had, and he was still alive when my dad was gone. I think my mom still wants that win for her husband, especially when his hatred for my dad still burns strong. I believe my paternal grandparents are the right people to walk me down the aisle, and I've been close to them my entire life. My mom is mad that I called her out and tried to make her be honest. She said she was not lying and that I'm being rude. Basically about the reason is she doesn't want the dad's family to win, but she said that, she's so close to the husband. Just lying. You're not the a-hole, and the fact that your mother and her husband, who you don't even look at as a stepfather, are trying to rule your day in favor of a grudge that they hold against your father that you still love and think about. Have your grandparents walk you down the aisle and enjoy your wedding. This is not a you problem. Am I the a-hole for telling my son it's absurd that he thinks we'll be at his wedding? This is my favorite thing about Am I the A-hole. Every time you come on here, it's all new ones. It's all new ones, but they all have a similar theme. So, like, every single day, people must, like, engage with the similar things. Today is very much so about weddings. Am I the a-hole for telling my son it's absurd that he thinks we'll be at his wedding? What do we think? What do we think? Wedding theme. What do we think? I'm seeing not the a-hole, you're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. Okay. Make this clear. We didn't think it would be in France. Oh, here we go. It's a destination wedding. You know how I feel about destination weddings. You know how I feel about destination weddings. Actually, I've only mentioned it like once, but I'll let you know again. We didn't think it would be France since he changed wedding ideas so many times. Also, we thought that it would be 2024 fall. January came out of nowhere. This is about my oldest. He always wanted to travel the world, and he just told us that he will be having his wedding in France. We thought he was joking when it first happened because he said so many different destinations at this time. Okay. I also thought it would be in a year, but the invites came today. It's in 4 months in France. He is looking to do a mini trip and apparently was able to book a small church in France for the whole thing. I told him it's absurd that he thinks we'll be able to go. I don't have the PTO. What does that mean? PTO. Paid time off. That makes sense. Already used it. Our youngest are still in school. We don't have the money to fly because there's 5 of us. I'm a wife and 3 minor kids. People take plane trips to France, and I don't think my wife even has a passport. We got in a huge argument about it, and I want to know if we're being jerks about it. No. Destination weddings only work if you, as the organizer, are willing to cover the cost of your loved ones if they deem they do not want to pay it. Either that or they do not come. Holy shit. Isn't it crazy to think that someone could just message you tomorrow and be like, your best friend, hey, you're invited to our wedding. We're going to go to France next week. Are you paying? Are you covering my shifts for me? Are you going to look after my kids? Are you going to look after my dogs? You're not the a-hole. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to celebrate with your son locally. Let him go off to France. You're not the a-hole for not being able to completely change your schedule or afford going on a fucking vacation out of nowhere. And I know it's for a wedding, but this is the problem with destination weddings. If you're going to do a destination wedding, I'm not saying you have to pay for every single person, but if your loved ones, you're inviting them, be prepared that they're going to say they don't have the money. And you know what you should do? Either pay for it or do a very intimate thing. I hate destination weddings. Next one. All right. Am I the a-hole for cleaning a grave of a person that isn't related to me? We've never had a graveyard one before. Am I the a-hole for cleaning a grave of a person that isn't related to me? What? To keep it short and simple, I went down to the graveyard my grandpa is buried at to clean up his grave. When I got to Gramps... It's a fun word, isn't it? When I got to Gramps' grave, Someone had already tidied it up, so I thought I'd clean up the graves most in need of it. I find the grave of a 4-year-old covered in leaves and weeds and cleaned it up. I spent about an hour on it, and when I was right about done, an older couple came up to me and asked what I was doing. I told them I was cleaning up a grave because someone had done it for my granda. As soon as they started talking right after that, sorry, there was just trying to think, about how the weeds and dead leaves scattered across it could have been on purpose or not, and I shouldn't have been touching the grave, basically. I kept working as they talked smack, and then I drove off. So I'm pretty sure I'm not, but I am. Okay, so this is a very simple one. No, it's just a nice act. Boring! I mean, what a nice thing, but... where's the drama? All right. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend that I'm not taking parenting advice for her? What do we think? Oh, this one's gonna be messy. We're seeing not the a-hole. I'm gonna say not the a-hole too. If I don't ask for your advice, don't fucking give it to me. I'm not gonna take criticism from someone I wouldn't take advice from. I saw a TikTok on that today and I went, yes. Yes. It's no secret that I'm not very strict with my kids. I have 2 boys. They're teenagers. They don't have a curfew. I don't get mad at them if they don't get good grades. I don't grind them. They have girlfriends that I allow them to see over. Yes, I know that my older one has smoked weed, etc., etc., etc. Those kids sound fun. And guess what? The boys are typical teenage boys, but they are kind-hearted and sweet. We have a very good relationship, and they're actually home more often than not. While we aren't strict parents, we also taught them to be kind, generous, and respectful, and it actually worked. Though we do have some bad days, but no one's perfect. Here's what I'm going to say. This kind of parenting is what to do. This is the kind of parenting to do. You honestly will get so much more out of your children if you don't parent them in an abusive way or parent them in a incredibly disciplinary way, or if you have open conversations with them. If you have this kind of parenting with your kids, by the way, they will feel, because I felt it, they will feel that they don't have to hide anything, which means that they'll be more open with you, and they won't be, as much as other kids, running behind your back doing shit because they feel that they can talk to you about it. So I think this parenting is great. I have a friend that's a great mom, but her and her daughter cannot stand each other right now. She complains about not being able to connect with her, and I don't say anything because every child is different, but I also don't have any daughters. My parenting style won't work on any child as well. Anyways, this friend came over for lunch when both my boys were home. One of them had their girlfriend over and we were chatting for a bit before they both went upstairs to my son's room. My friend looked shocked and was like, "You're seriously gonna let them go be alone in his room?" I just said, "Yeah," and she was like, "I could never do that," and I just laughed along with her. Then the eldest comes downstairs and is like, "Hey mom, I'm ordering food. You want anything?" I said no thanks and turned back to my friend, and she looked shocked again and was like, "But you cooked food." I told her he's old enough to eat whatever he wants and he's ordering food with his own money. Can this friend shut the fuck up? Can this friend shut the fuck up? It's not like it's a special occasion or I cook specific food for him. It was literally grilled cheese sandwiches. My friend made a face and kept telling me that what I'm doing isn't right and that I'm acting like their friend, not their parent. And you know what? You can do both at the same time. And even teenage boys need rules to become good people. What? Are teenage boys are they normally great people? All right. I was trying to change the subject, but she wouldn't let it go. I'm sorry, but I'm not taking parenting advice from you. Okay, get the fuck out of my house. I'll be like, how's that situation going with your daughter? Your daughter hates you right now. Your parents suck. Your parenting sucks. Loser. Shit parent. Like, I'd be, oh, how's your daughter, by the way? Seriously. Who's the one with a good relationship with her kid right now? The one you're criticizing. Tell your daughter I sent my love. Oh wait, she doesn't talk to you. Like, no. She went quiet before yelling at me and saying that I'm the weird one and that I can't be serious. Well, we've never been more serious. Friend, it seems that you're being very unserious. I told her she should probably leave and was like, I should. I didn't know you were such a mean person. I pray for your kids and I pray that they never talk to you. You know what's crazy? Your daughter isn't even talking to you right now. Get fucked. I didn't realize how much you failed them. That's crazy. Their kids are having, like, their girlfriends over and ordering pizza, and your daughter doesn't even fucking speak to you. Loser! No, I'm not asking for judgment about my parenting. No, babe, I'm on your side. Not the a-hole. Your friend sucks. I hate your friend. I hope her daughter... I'm not gonna say that. That was like a moment where, you know, like an Ethan show, they press the button and they stop it. I reined myself in. That was crazy. All right. Am I the a-hole for not letting my former stepdaughter go homeless? Okay. My first husband and I divorced amicably. That word stresses me out. About 10 years ago. I have since remarried and have 2 sons, who are 14 and 8. When I divorced my first husband, I made it clear that I was no longer interested in co-parenting his daughter, Lindsay, who's 23. Lindsay's mother wasn't in the picture, but I was only in her life for a few years at that point, so it's not like she was losing a mother figure. I still talk to her occasionally and send her birthday gifts here and there. Lindsay is a bit of a wild child. Wild child. She had some problems with her, with law, and overall is unmotivated to do anything meaningful with her life. My ex and Lindsay, as of recently, are no longer on speaking terms. Lindsay came to me because I guess she had nowhere else to go. She asked if she could stay with me for a while she got back on her feet. I ended up saying yes because I couldn't imagine her surviving in the alternative. This was 2 months ago. Lindsay still hasn't moved out or found a job, but she does do chores around the house and helps the kids with their homework. My kids have started to connect with Lindsay a bit. My husband, however, is not exactly okay with her presence. A few days ago, he asked me why she was still here. I informed him once again of her situation, but he didn't seem to care. He told me he did not want a criminal. Keep in mind, this person's also child as well. Like, this is your ex-husband's daughter. So this is also like your child. Did not want a criminal around his influential children. Ugh, send these children with the other one's daughter. I want Lindsay and the 2 teenage boys to form a supergroup of the rebel kids. Lindsay has had a few addictions, but I'm sure she wouldn't do it in front of my kids. I tried to explain to my husband about second chances, but he wasn't having it. Your husband should meet the woman from the previous one. I think they'd get on like a treat. He called me a doormat and said he wanted Lindsay out of the house in the next 2 weeks. You've had 2 months to give a little bit of warning, and now is your breaking point? Give a little bit of warning with a little bit more time. 2 months ago or something, right? Additionally, my ex is not happy with Lindsay staying with me. He thinks I'm ruining her by not letting her learn life lessons. Like what? What's the life lesson you want? Living on the street? Struggling with addiction? Like, what's the life lesson? My husband is weaponizing and telling me that I should stop telling other people how to parent. See, this is the theme. Now there's parenting. You're not the a-hole, and I feel bad for Lindsay. You're not the a-hole. Ooh. Listen, there's a theme. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother I'll do better at your next wedding? There's a wedding theme. Oh, this one's tea. Wedding tea's so good because it's normally when all the claws come out in the family. I don't know why. What is it about weddings that when you put a family together for a wedding, shit hits the fucking fan? Shit hits the fan. It's crazy. My brother and I are not close. Never was. And after what happened on his wedding, probably never will. Oh, I want to get invited to... Muckers, if you ever have any weddings, just start inviting me to them. I just want to like, I'm going to go around and interview every single member of your family, find out the lore, and then I'm going to start fights within your family and then just kind of witness it all happen. Thank you. I'll be like, did you hear that Auntie Jess just called you a raging and an awful parent? I wouldn't take that if I was you. But nice to meet you. I'm Adam. Oh, I'm getting a lot of invites in the chat. Thank you so much. If you could send me an email with your family's lore beforehand so I could find out who to befriend. Adam, I'll have a second wedding just so you can come. Amazing. If you have any relatives that you're not close with, if you could invite them, I'll sort it out. I'll sort it out. Okay. I'm so distracted. My brother and I are not close, never was, and after what happened on his wedding, probably never will be. I'm not too torn up about it, though. Oh, they said the winner of the I Don't Give a Fuck award goes to this person. In my opinion, he's a spoiled, entitled man-child. And my life is better the further apart we are from each other. Side note, this also isn't his first marriage. It's his third. Okay? He turned 30 last... What? How is that possible? No shade. I have a lot of friends that are remarried a couple times, actually. But third marriage by 30? And the winner of the I Don't Give a Fuck award goes to this person's brother. That's crazy. 3 marriages before 30. I want a movie on that. He better invite me to the fucking 4th. Okay, Ross. How many divorces did Ross get? Carl. Emily. Rachel. Well, Rachel was the annulment. Ross was only 2 divorces? Because Rachel was the annulment, but did they end up getting divorced in the end? I can't remember. Wait, if Ross only had 2 divorces, that's not that bad. That was the entire storyline. You would think that, like, it was, like, 10. That's not... Milo? Milo? I just hear him trying to lick himself. All right. So this is 3rd marriage, and he turned 30 last August. So 3rd marriage, by the way, 3rd marriage when they're like not even turned 30 yet. I wonder if Milo is there that I could... Hold on. Let me try see. Hi, beautiful boy. Hi. 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 Oh, there you go. He had his surgery today. He doesn't have many thoughts today, I'm going to be honest with you. He has been... First of all, who here has had a cat that's been neutered? He is, like, eating like never before. He's at, like, 5 wet food, sachets today. And I was like to the vet, like, I was like, do I keep feeding him? Like, he, like, keeps wanting more. And they were like, yeah, keep feeding him. They were like, you really, like, they were like, especially for this first couple days, you got to keep feeding him whenever he wants it. And I was like, really? And they were like, yeah. They were like, for the first couple days. And I was like, is this because he was on, like, you know, knocked out? Like, does he have, like, the equivalent of, like, the munchies? And they were like, he's going to need the calories to kind of recover. And they were also like, his appetite is probably going to really, really, really increase over the next few days. And I was like, whoa. So, whew, good for him. This isn't his first marriage. He turned its third one. Turned 30 last August. His car has been with him longer than either of his ex-wives. Shady. He married my newest sister-in-law 2 weeks ago. They just came back from honeymoon. The first thing they did after returning is to call me and berate me for bringing my roommate as my plus one. They said they didn't say anything back then because they didn't want to make a big fuss about it, but they think it's super inconsiderate for me to bring a stranger. I've known my roommate since before my brother's first marriage to their wedding, and if I don't have a long-term partner, then I shouldn't have brought a plus one. Oh, shut up. Listen, if you're on your third wedding in a couple months, I'm using that as like a pregame, and then I'm going to the club after. I'm bringing whoever I'm bringing a Tinder date that I've never met before. Seriously? Like I said, I don't like my brother that much to begin with, so I didn't bother arguing with him, as hearing him speak already gave me a migraine. I simply said, "You're right, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I'll keep that in mind and do better on your next wedding." I then hung up and have been ignoring his calls and texts ever since. My roommate thinks it's absolutely hilarious, and so do our friends. However, most of my family has been spam calling me. I don't pick up either, so my guess is that they don't find it funny. Am I the a-hole? No, I think you're kind of funny, and I would love to have you on the channel. If you send an email to my business email, we would love to have you on the channel. We'd love to have a conversation. Not the a-hole. All right, muckers, we'll leave it there. This is a fun one. Fun little wedding themed. Hark the herald. That is a Christmas song. That is not a wedding song. I do not know any. My darling, you look wonderful tonight. That was my parents' wedding song. She puts on her makeup and brushes her long brown hair. And then she asks me, do I look alright? And I say yes, you look wonderful tonight. Love that song. The voice of an angel. Thank you. All right, we'll leave it there.